Can I say something about Masai's sidekick actually? He threw about 2-3 sidekicks at me yesterday with his lead leg as well. And I was close, like he threw it, the timing was perfect because I was coming in for a jab and before I know it I'm going back. Because he landed and I think it doesn't look beautiful when we're marching, but he lands it beautifully when we're sparring, I'll say that.
Thanks, man.
But you know, Masai, what it is?
I saw him holding a cup, I was like, he wants
Guys,
to
this is Don. He's another great South African and martial artist.
You know what I'm saying? Brown belt in Shotokan.
Oh, what?
Yeah, 100%.
What? Is
You
that a
don't
real
know
sport?
this?
Is that a real
Shotokan
sport?
karate.
You don't know Shotokan?
You can't.
Honestly, man, I think I mentioned this in our last podcast. The harbor area where the ship was.
Yes.
So I did see quite a bit, and that's where I met my wife.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. How long did you know this?
He was so shy.
Yeah. So background.
My man. My man.
Not in Hong Kong, on the ship, by the way.
On the ship.
Where were you?
Because firstly, do you bring an American to South Africa? The first answer is no. But she didn't grow up in She didn't grow up in the States. She grew up in India, like straight up hardcore, the real India.
You get what I'm saying?
Omo and I met this guy not very long ago. He joined our school, joined the kickboxing full contact circuit, and we've been having a lot of fun ever since. And I just one day I decided, if there's somebody to talk to about some real stuff, just about life, martial arts and so on, but a couple of real points, this is the guy to do it with. So yeah, Messiah, how are you doing, man?
Good, thanks.
You doing alright?
It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Nervous.
It's good to have you here.
Yeah, you don't have to be nervous. Honestly, I want you to see it as just us hanging out before class starts, because we've done it 100 times now.
Facts.
Yeah, and we just have a conversation and stuff. And Omo, you doing well?
I'm doing well.
You surviving this life?
100%.
Good stuff.
100%. I'm still traumatized by the beating Masai gave me yesterday, but I'll get through it.
I can explain.
These guys really go for it. You guys really do go for it when you spar. I always want to pair you guys up when we spar, but I always want to drill that thing home, especially headshots, guys. Headshots. I can't fix the brain. We can condition the rest of the body, but we can't condition the brain.
That is fair.
Not the brain.
Alright. Messiah, so tell me about you. What do you do besides martial arts? And also I would love you to go a little bit into what styles have you done before you walked into our dojo?
Okay. So I'm Messiah, of course, as previously mentioned. So I do 3 things at a time. So I work 7 to 5. I'm into the sales department, that's a bit corporate. And then as a family, we are an owner of a citrus farm, as well as a trucking company.
Okay.
Transfer, so we export to Swaziland, coal to be exact. And yeah, I just, distribute my time around those 3 things. It's not easy, but that's what I do. And yeah.
Why corporate if there's a family business? I've never asked you this before. We never had this conversation before.
Yeah, so entitlement. Entitlement is like a disease, it's like a cancer. Once it's planted in the mind, you can't get rid of it. I don't want to be entitled. I want to be a man. I want to get my own stuff. I want to work for what I have. It's much different than getting money than working for your own money. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
I hear what you're
You
saying.
understand what I'm saying? You walk different, you feel different.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Saying that my mom bought me this car, you'll know when someone got something, whether they worked for it or not.
Yeah.
And I want to work for my stuff. You
I
understand
hear
what
you.
I'm saying? If you wanna, the day you die, what contribution did you bring into life? You're just getting from people. You're just sucking from people. I don't want that. So I'm like, you know what? Let me take a year or 2. Let me run my own race. See what's for me. See what's not for me, and just nail it from there.
So basically, you're saying that you almost inherit a functioning business that's actually doing freaking well internationally, and you still chose to work that day job.
I did.
Where your boss yells at you sometimes.
For peanuts, yeah. For peanuts.
Okay, Messiah.
My dad went through it. My
Yeah.
great dad went through it. All very successful men. My brother went through it. He's running the trucking company in Swaziland. They all went through it. What's stopping me?
I hear
That's
you.
fair. Shout out to you, man.
What
Sure.
story am I writing in my book if I'm just inheriting?
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I mean, honestly, that is chapter one onto itself. That's fascinating. I don't know this. You walk in there and I asked you what kind of martial arts that you do, and you kind of kept it a little bit vague. You said Krav Maga. But I'll never forget the one day, the theme was self-defense. So we do ring fighting and we focus on that. But I gave you guys some rubber knives, went into a few of the basics, you know. But I just wanted you guys to play around and have some fun, something else. And then you just started like disarming and throwing people left, right, and center. And I'm like, shucks, like obviously you've done this before. So, Messiah, what's up with that?
Yeah, this actually sort of has to do with my life story. I grew up on a farm, local. So the farm is basically what I started. Citrus farm, you know, it's a very small place. Now, there was one school in primary, and they had karate. I always wanted to join karate because since I'm on a farm, you know, transportation and all that stuff, it got a bit tight.
Yeah.
So that was just a dream that I had, which faded away.
Yeah.
We moved to Joburg for a year. My brother did EFC for a year. He got pretty far with it. And then I was like, you know what, this guy's actually living my dream.
Yeah.
But once again, we moved back to the farm. Right after high school, I joined the school. You guys should check them out. It's called Beyond Adventure. They're based in Allisdale in the Eastern Cape. And we did a few modules, you know, self-defense. And that's when I realized that, you know what, I wanna serve for my country. You understand?
All right.
There's a famous song of Jacob Banks. He says, what I learned from a soldier, every man is a son of a daughter, but we only remember when you see the blood.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right after that, I joined a private military academy, actually here in Rietvlei, not too far, it's about 15-minute drive. It's called Bastion Academy. And that's where I did, once again, Krav Maga. These were just modules of it, but it was strictly military based, private military based.
Private military.
Because no offense, you know, South African army. Yeah. So
Let's
I went
not
private.
talk politics.
Yeah. So I just went private.
Yeah.
So in private, and yeah, that's where I got to learn how to do these things. I stabbed myself. I was very dumb.
Is that where that was from?
Yeah.
How'd you stab yourself?
It's a long story.
We've got the time.
I stabbed myself during load shedding. I was playing with a knife. I was being very dumb, and I got hospitalized. Got a few stitches. So once you know the danger of weapons, number one. Number two, once you know what's life. Understand what I'm saying? These things make you look at life different. You know, you learn from your mistakes, and wanting to serve. So when you play with a knife, people, it's like that. You know what we're doing with the plastic knives. You know it's a plastic knife.
Yeah.
You know it's not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Stab yourself, you'll defend yourself, my boy. So be a whole different approach.
I hear
So
you.
that's where that whole,
Yeah.
hey man, I know what this feels like. I don't want to do it again.
Do you want to say which company, which private military? Can you?
Yeah.
Who was it for?
It's Emerald Risk Solution is the big name. That's the father company of it. Now they do tactical response, they do private CPO, which is close protection officer, they do a whole bunch of other stuff. But then they have a training academy which is called Bastion Academy.
Okay.
That's the one that's based here, but it's strictly military based.
Okay.
So you have your fast page, you have your
That's
all
what you showed me, that
all
video.
all that tough stuff, you know, where you have to live off water for a week and did all of that.
So I've got family in the States. They don't know what fast bait is. Explain fast bait.
I also don't know what it is actually.
So
family in the States.
So fast bait literally means bite on.
It means what?
Bite on, direct
Bite
translation, but it means just hang in there.
Oh, okay.
Understand what I'm
Okay,
saying?
bite on.
Hang
Okay,
in there.
hang in there.
Everything comes to an end.
I have a
Just
question
hang in.
actually. Then why? Two questions. Why did you stop, or did the thing just end naturally? And what led from then to where you are now? What led you to come join Fushia's classes and all that?
So I'm afraid I can't really disclose as to why I left the academy.
Okay.
But also my end, once again, it was a very tough time in my life. It was also hard for my family to accept the fact that I'm actually not walking out, but I want to run my own race. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Because my father and I, we had this plan. I'm not going to go to tertiary, because why study for something we can learn it?
Okay.
That's the mindset he had.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was going straight into the family business, straight into that, and then family stuff happened.
Yeah.
And then I decided that, you know what, I'm actually gonna go do my own thing. And then as I previously mentioned at Beyond Adventure, I actually realized that, you know what, I actually serve. I can serve. So what happened is we did a strongman competition. I actually won a medal 2 days after I got the stitch.
Yeah.
And there's something called the Hercules hold, where you have to hold these super heavy things on both
with
ends
a hole in your arm.
with the stitches. And then, you know what, Pastor Pete, his name is Peter Britt, he came to my name. He was a Iraqi. Back then the Iraqis were like the SWATs of South Africa.
Yeah.
And he shake my hand, he's like, you know what, my boy, well done.
Sure.
You won this competition with stitches. And you held that with stitches. Then I was like, pain is a mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I did it, yeah. Yeah, then after that we did this thing called Longest Day, which is a 100-kilometer race. So you kayak, I might have the numbers wrong, but you kayak for 18, you jump on a bicycle, cycle 60 kilometers. After that you jog for 21.
Yes. Okay.
So my first one I did in 11 hours 45. Second one I did in 8 hours 15.
Yes. Okay.
So I was like, you know what, whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. You can do it. So I was like, you know what, just take things to the extreme. You join a private military, not even a flippin'. You just go to the extreme. In a private military. Was it difficult? No. Was it impossible? No. Did I complete it? No.
Okay.
But I still did it though.
You were there.
I still did it.
I hear you, man.
I still did it.
hear you.
Yeah.
Now, I have this, and I mean, it counts for everybody all over the world, but I do feel like there's a huge amount of South Africans that, for some reason, just incredibly strong mentally, and I think it's because life is life here. Life is tough. We don't always have all the luxuries that everybody has. We have to face some real truths. We're now in a stage in South Africa where it doesn't matter which class you find yourself in. You're affect if the government turns your power off, your power's off.
Yeah.
And as a martial arts instructor, you know, we get taught by our masters from overseas that adversity creates, you know, strength. And you see Japanese martial artists, there's this famous shots of them sitting underneath freezing waterfalls, and just this freezing water is just cutting into them, but they're there meditating. Now, we live life here. That's my thought, you know.
Well, tough times make strong men. And strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men.
Soft men.
And so that
Soft men make hard times.
Make hard times.
Yeah.
And I think that metaphor, that saying exists to remind every generation, be tough. And not tough, be strong. There's a difference, you know. I like this one term, meek. I always thought meek and weak is the same thing. Meek and weak is not the same thing. They use that term for a war horse, a meek war horse, which means he listens to the master who rides him, but it's a war horse. If he's in the battle and he kicks people in the head, he kicks people in the head. Funny, that's what we do as well. So I can't help it. So Messiah, you went through all of this. You started working corporate with the family business in the background. How did you find out about Junsa Martial Arts, which is on your shirt? I'm very happy that you're wearing the shirt, man. I appreciate it.
Well, you gotta know it's an honor if I'm wearing it. So I came back here to Centurion, living here full time. So we've had this house since flipping out 2002 or something. And you gotta, once again, going back to what state we're in as a community. Understand what I'm saying? I don't look at it as a where are we as a community. Where are you as an individual? You understand? It's just what it is. So I helped a lot of people before. I've prayed for them. And you understand what I'm saying? I've also in the private military. I remember there was this one guy. We did our first PT test. This guy vomited his lungs out within the first activity, which was a 2.4 run. You understand what I'm saying? And I told him that, you know what? You can either quit or you can remember why you came. You understand what I'm saying? So I thought to myself, okay, fine. I'm here to make a living for myself. What life am I going to live? Am I going to be living the same life of working 7 to 5, coming back home, having dinner, going back to sleep. What is that? What contribution am I bringing to society? Not to my boss, to society.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying? If I can at least bring protection to my society, which is exactly why I joined my military, if I can bring protection to my society, to my household, then I'm ticking boxes.
I hear you.
I don't have to tick all boxes. I can just influence my family in one way or the other. Protection is the first. We live in a dangerous world.
Very.
So I'm like, you know what, let me get something to do, which I love. I can hit people legally. and I can protect my household. Checked it out on the internet, and you are not too commercial. Don't get me wrong on this. When people get too commercial, you tend to not focus on people individually. If you have 50 students, it's difficult to give everyone attention.
Yeah.
When we're much less, you can really be like, my boy, your kicks on them.
You have a term for this.
That's what I'm saying.
Mac Dojo.
Mac Dojo.
Mac
yeah.
Dojo.
Something, continue, skis.
So yeah, that's why. That's how I found it.
I appreciate that.
And it's walking distance too.
And it's walking distance, it helps. It helps. Like a lot of people who train with us are right here in the hood. And it's important. The one problem with our neighborhood is that a lot of people work outside of the neighborhood, and a lot of people who you see daily are from another neighborhood working here.
Yeah.
So nobody has this deep-seated feeling of community. Can change with a dojo, and that's what we're seeing. People in the same neighborhood are suddenly knowing each other. I never knew Omo. We went to the same art school.
You
Never knew it. We never knew each other, but we met each other because we love the sport. No, I find it super interesting, man. And I like your approach as well. It kind of ties into that whole cycle of strong men and weak men and strong men and weak men. And I mean, let's be honest, it's strong men and women, weak men and women that create the situations we're in. And that you decide to be strong. I think one of the things is I think a lot of South Africans confuse violence with strength. People misunderstand what violence is, and that whole thing that it's about. And in the traditional martial arts, it's a big deal that gets hammered into us. You know, you need to protect your, you need to protect the people around you and so on. Yeah. We have a very violent country, guys. Like, we have an intensely violent country. We don't realize it, but as soon as you travel overseas, and even if you just go to Lesotho, because it's not that rough there. If you go to Swaziland, even there, people seem to be just more. But here in Gauteng, I mean, it's rough. It's rough. It's not Gauteng. It's GP for Gangster Province. I've heard that. It's stupid. It's
the first time I've ever heard that. Gangster Province.
I mean, he's not lying. So I actually had this other thought one day. I was driving to work. When I drive to work or walk to work, well, you know, I think. I meditate sort of. Meditation is important. Y'all better meditate. Thought about it. Like, okay, say I'm now 40 years of age. I have a daughter. So I picture things. I put it like in a movie-ish type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? And I heard a similar thing. So picture this. No martial arts, no nothing, no self-defense. You never took a self-defense thing in your life, but you have a gun. You park your car at a gas station. It's midnight. Your daughter jumps out the car. She goes to the restroom. She takes long. She's not coming back. You're like, you know what? Something's not right here. You walk there, and there's a man in the restroom, right? And he sees that you're the father. What does he do? He pulls out a knife, and he has a, you know, like a chokehold or whatever it is. Sorry to be so specific about it, but you really have to think of the worst, because that's life we live in. You understand what I'm saying? He has a knife, and he's pointing at her. What do you do in that situation? You have a gun, yes. You have no martial arts. You can't use your gun anyway in that situation. You have no sense of martial arts. As a man, you're going to break. That's what made me thought, what protection am I bringing to the society?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be my daughter. It can be anyone. It can be a stranger.
Yeah.
You see something, what you going to do about it? You can't even throw a damn punch.
Yeah.
But you can shoot a shot.
Yeah. Doesn't
work like that.
Yeah.
So you really have to break things down to the basics. I'm a man. What is the definition of a man? It's not just to bring in money. You have to be there for your family. You have to protect them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're there and you can't protect them, you're not very useful, are you?
I hear you. The problem is here in South Africa, we don't have the luxury to not. to not. I mean, there's so many people that I've met and that have people just like, they're just sitting here, and the next moment their door just opens. I remember there was a guy at a place I used to hang out at occasionally. I met the bartender, very nice guy, and when I saw him again 2 months later, he had a huge cast, and I asked him, man, buddy, what happened? He's like, no, he blocked the machete.
Yo.
And he was just watching TV, and they were here, and then they just started swinging. And he fought them for like a half an hour with a half-severed arm.
Goodness,
and eventually they ran away.
Yeah.
The thing is that, firstly, I think a lot of South Africans live in a lot of fear. We think these things happen all the time. They don't necessarily, but proportionally they happen quite a lot.
They do.
The thing is, I mean, I think we all have our own mud stories.
We all do, yeah.
We all have our stories where there was a knife involved, at least. I'm lucky I never had a gun pulled on me. But I'm just lucky. We all have these stories. And I don't think we have the luxury. We don't have the luxury. And it's important, because we live in this society, that we understand it properly. And this is something that I want to drive home at Junsa. This is something that I drive home with the kids, and with the adults I approach it differently. But this message is the same. Be a pillar of society. It's more than just kicking and punching in class. It's when you leave. And I think one of the reasons I wanted you here is because I picked it up from you. And I mean, that's the only thing we can do, is to try and, in our own way, support the community around us. Yeah. By the way, I also think it's really interesting that you think of that worst situation and you're deciding now what you will do, because that's real self-defense. Like when somebody pulls a knife, you don't have the presence of mind to decide, should I do something, should I not? You should have decided beforehand.
Exactly.
And it's that whole idea of that line in the sand. Make it simple for yourself. If anybody is on that side of the line, I'm not going to go over to violence. But if they cross that line, it's not just I'm going to be punching and kicking, it's life or death.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, is your wallet life or death? Are you willing to die for your wallet? Not kill for your wallet, that's a wrong question. Die for the wallet. The answer is no, for me at least. My car, no. My wife, yeah, 100%, 1,000 times over.
What about us?
Yeah, you guys. Guys, I can promise you this. If there ever is a situation where suddenly I realize, holy shit, you're in trouble, I'm jumping in. I'm helping out.
Throw your sidekick.
Chamber, hands up.
No,
but unfortunately, the thing is that when you're nice and calm and relaxed, you got to think about it, and you got to decide this is the point. So no, human life is sacred in my mind. If your lives are in danger, I'm willing to die for that, to not lose another human life, right? But you gotta think about it, and you gotta mean it for real. So I got another question for you.
Yes, sir.
So just to give some background.
Yeah.
So I meet you, we're speaking English, right? We're in Gauteng, it's what we do. So I'm not from Gauteng, I'm from the Northwest Province, and there's two languages that exist out there. And it's Afrikaans and it's Setswana, right? English, sometimes.
Depends where you are.
Depends where you are.
Yeah.
Rustenburg is getting better and better about
It is.
that. Yeah.
Like I know for a long time, because I grew up in Northwest as well. For a long time, I know I was one of, I think, 4 kids in my neighborhood who could speak English.
That's weirdly familiar. Like everybody pretends like they can speak English out there, but if you really chat with them, they can't. But anyway, so we're in Gauteng, it's how it works, we speak English. I'm speaking English to this guy. There's another student, he's an Afrikaans speaker. And I'm hearing this, what? He's speaking Afrikaans. He's speaking Afrikaans fluently to this man. Cool, okay, cool. You guys start heading off in Setswana. I'm like, alright, the list keeps growing. Not that long ago I heard you speak isiZulu. Beautiful isiZulu. So what the hell is up with that? Are you a spy? For which country? That's the real question.
Maybe I am. No.
But Messiah, whatever you're willing to share, what's your background? What's that all about?
Okay, now we're gonna go back a few years.
Let's.
So, what happened is, so my mother passed away in a car accident. I never knew my biological father. Right. And when that happened, and let me tell you, God is good, yeah?
Yeah.
So my mother passes away. I was 6 at the time, and I can remember everything playing on as a movie. And I can't remember her having this conversation, but she literally just called up this farmer. She's like, listen here, there are 3 kids. Their mother recently passed away. Do you mind just taking care of them?
Okay.
Now, our definition of taking care is like, okay, I'll probably feed them for about a week. Maybe their family will get back to them, let them have the funeral, and then, you know. 20, Lord knows how many years later, here we are. This man decided to take foster care of us, and he's taking care of us, he's provided for us, taking us to school, father figure, all that stuff. So he was engaged to an Afrikaans lady. He's actually English.
Okay.
It's quite crazy that an Englishman is a farmer.
I mean, it happens.
In South Africa.
In South Africa.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So he's English, she's Afrikaans, and a farming environment. So we have workers, you know, some of them from Tonga backgrounds, Zulu backgrounds, Bedis backgrounds, and now you can't work with people without understanding them. It's one thing to tell someone that, hey yo, dig a hole. But digging it with them, you're gonna have to start conversating with them, you know? And that's just how I grew up.
Okay.
That's where the entitlement thing goes completely thrown out the window.
Yeah.
You understand? Just because my dad's the owner of the farm doesn't mean that I was calling the shots. Oh no, I was my man. I was right. I'm happy now that I got an acorn in the city. You know, you get what I'm saying? So it was that type of vibe. So you gotta understand people and their background. So I don't just speak a language. I understand people where they're coming from. You understand? So for example, if I'm speaking Afrikaans, there's certain things that I can talk about, but I understand that in Pedi or John or whatever it is, there's certain things we just can't talk about. I just can't say it.
Sure.
Crazy example. If we're having a chat and I'm saying, and I throw in a swear word, not that I swear, but I throw in a swear word. You understand what I'm saying? Like this.
Never. Not even once. Continue.
I'm gonna swear with you five because you get me.
Continue.
And like imagine swear for example.
Yeah.
And we're speaking about something completely different. I have to swear. You take it as I'm swearing to you. That's normally how the African culture takes it. But in bro.
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying.
And then, whereas in other cultures, you get me. It's just you just expressing how you're feeling. So I understand the culture, not just the language.
Sure.
Now I suppose your next question is how many languages can I speak? So I can speak Afrikaans, English, Zulu, Swati, which is quite similar to Zulu.
Don't tell them that.
Pedi, Tonga, of course, which is a very small tribe based in Mpumalanga and stuff like that.
You speak Tonga?
I do.
Man, that's Chinese.
And and then I also, so we have a few Zimbabwean employees. And I speak the language too, which is called Shona.
Shona? You speak Shona?
Yeah.
Messiah.
So 11 wasn't enough for you. You had to go.
Nah. It's my life is literally all based on exposure.
It's just picking it up.
It's just
you must
exposure.
probably have a bit of a gift for languages. Just picking up.
That.
Must probably a gift for people. And because you have a gift for people, you just pick up language like that.
Yeah.
Our generation is covering of a divide that was made generation before us. But you're in a different boat. You're not covering the divide. You're the covering of the divide already. You're the bridge. I mean, when I heard you speak Afrikaans, there was just this familiarity. Like people who speak Afrikaans is my mother, my father, my brothers, my cousins.
Yeah.
You know, it's that sudden like deep familiarity, and you turn around and you speak Setswana. Like obviously, I'm like, there's that same, and it's just this message of humanity. Firstly, South Africa, you represent a nation.
Yeah.
A nation that is finding each other in the dark here because Eskom turned the power off.
Oh, geez.
But not to be politic, but you represent. I mean, I don't want to be too much, but you represent the future. One person, one nation, in between all these different cultures and languages. It's not that complicated to understand each other.
It's really not. So I obviously, as you can imagine, as an African male, with my experiences and where I've been and the people I've associated myself with, you can say what you want. A racial difference will always be there. You understand? So when I walk into certain places, I choose not to speak Afrikaans.
Yeah.
You understand? If it's a professional environment, we'll just speak English. But then once we start getting casual, I speak Afrikaans. People's attitude changed immediately.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We would. This other day I was at the clubhouse. I was just having a drink, and these gents were sitting a table away from me, and I was just doing my own thing, and then I get a call, and I speak Afrikaans, right? All of their heads turned, and they just looked at me, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like, I'm not a threat, man. I'm just a person, you understand what I'm saying? But then all of a sudden, they came through, they started chatting, eventually like, if you want to join our table. And that's the thing, you don't have to speak the language, understand the culture.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So they took me in as one of them. Because once you understand the culture, not just the language, once you understand the culture, color gets, you don't see color anymore.
That's true. Because it's true, you don't just speak Afrikaans. You live the culture.
Yeah.
And I actually do appreciate that we started off in English. Like there was just this. But when I heard you chat with the other student, and I could hear you don't just know the words, you know the intonations, you know where to put the emphasis, and you knew what to say. And I mean it's interesting. You in a way you are all peoples together. And that is incredibly unique. You should write a book. But it is incredibly unique.
In what language should I write it?
That's the thing. You should write them in all of it.
But yeah, no, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
It's amazing. I think your unique place in this world has a role. There's a role, and it most probably has a lot to do with fixing what has been broken.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want that job. I'm not gonna lie, it's rough.
It's not an easy job, man.
Yeah.
But that's the story I want to write, so I'm going forward. Nothing's easy.
What is your long-term goals?
My long-term goal?
So are you being specific to martial arts or to...
In general. Or...
Whatever you're willing to share. I mean, martial arts, yes. But
so I'll break it down.
Yes.
Short... You also have a long-term goal. My short-term goal, which will be achieved by my short-term achievement, I suppose. So I want to go pro in terms of...
In combat?
Yeah.
Combat sports?
Martial arts, yeah. I would like to go
by
pro.
Pro you mean EFC at least?
Well, wherever the ball takes... Okay. Man, you know what? I don't plan.
Okay.
I just do my best and I let God do the rest, right? If you just do your best, you'll be where you need to be.
Yeah.
So I might say that, I want to do kickboxing and who knows, maybe I do Muay Thai, something more aggressive. What? I don't know. But that's my goal. That's what I'm saying. I just want to compete, not in one, but I just want to compete. You understand what I'm saying? And then after that, I see myself. So I think a lot. You understand what I'm saying? Every now and then I look into the mirror and I ask myself, if today was the last day that you're gonna live, would you do what you're about to do? And now my answer is no. For too long, I know I'm doing something wrong. And I ask myself, what would you rather do instead? And my answer's been the same for a very long time.
Yeah.
I wanna do my own thing, and what I mean by that is business-wise. You understand what I'm saying? And besides the financial side of it, you walk different knowing that I'm providing for 5 families. I'm putting food on the table, and that's what I want. Besides, I mean, the other factor, if you think about it, you're working 10 hours a day and making someone else money. Why don't you make yourself money? But besides that,
I hear you.
But also, you just feel different. You feel important once you know that these families are relying on me, and you just have to make it work. The unemployment rate in South Africa is it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
And if I can just change it, just with a few households. So that's my long-term goal. I have an idea into what, but just as you know, I'm a mysterious man. I don't say things until they've happened.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's fair.
Or once they in action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to the GoPro, you said that you're not quite sure which sport it's gonna be, which combat sport it's gonna be.
Definitely not boxing.
I was gonna ask if you have.
Because you know my
if
boxing.
you eliminate it, it's decent. No? If you,
It's alright.
It's
like if you could choose at least two to go pro in, what would you say?
Muay Thai and kickboxing.
Muay Thai and kickboxing. Okay.
Yeah. Muay Thai and kickboxing. I want to be contact.
Yeah.
Understand? Like that punch that this man gave me,
Yeah.
we sort of dislocated my jaw.
I didn't.
You get what I mean? Don't lie.
I just wanna-
You're on camera, bro. You can't lie.
I mean,
You
full
know-
disclosure,
you know that's what you did.
this doesn't happen often, but I totally saw that. I mean, the perfect hip rotation, everything was
Yeah.
perfect, yeah, and it did.
Thing is, he was moving into it. That's what I'm
And,
saying.
and my
He was-
defense was off. My defense
He
was
was
off.
moving into it.
My defense was off.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Why did I mention that?
Which
You
one?
want to go pro?
You
Oh,
said
yeah,
Muay Thai
yeah.
or kickboxing?
Muay Thai.
So yeah, I want to make contact. Because I
You're
like
enjoying it.
I like putting myself into a situation where I'm like, you know what, bro, you just gotta thug it out. You understand? Like when he got me with that punch, you saw, bro, I was light on my feet.
That was rough.
I could have obviously chose that.
Was
you
it
know what,
Yes.
bad?
let me just take a bit of a nap. But then I decided not to. I'm not gonna drop. You understand? And once you achieve that, bro, it's an accomplishment. Dog, you got me there, bro.
No, I would say even
You got
yesterday
me.
when you got, I told you when you got me under the rib, he got me with a nice roundhouse kick right under the rib, man. And I want every time I get caught, I always say, "Good punch, good kick." He kicked me, and I tried to say the word, and I was like, that's what that came out my mouth. Good kick.
Ouch. Then you know it's a problem.
Yeah. There was no A in here anyway.
Yeah, it's all these small things, man. Small things make my day, and if I can make my day nice, I can make my week, which eventually turns into a month, year, and a
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's the story I'm writing right now, and I'm loving the story. I just wanna. But the pen is not in my hands. I don't know who's writing my book, but he's cooking.
But you're helping out.
He's cooking, bro. Let me tell you something. He's cooking.
I hear you.
How about you, Omar? Where have you been?
Where have I been?
Countries.
Oh. That's like spiritually, where have you been?
Where have you been in my life?
I've only ever left the country once. I was in Germany. I was there for 2 weeks, and that's it.
I'd love to go to Germany.
Which
It's a
season
nice
were you winter or summer?
I was in the middle of winter, right in
Shucks.
the middle of winter. I hated everything about it. Beautiful country,
Yes.
lovely people. Hated the core. I hated it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I went through 3 years in South Africa, no COVID. I got to Germany, I caught COVID on my 3rd or 4th day over there. That's
Really?
why, yeah.
Was it that recent you went? I didn't realize it was that recent.
It was. I knew you when I went. I had already met you. A year ago. It was a year ago. Just over a year ago.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I remember you going to Germany?
Because I didn't tell you.
You just didn't show up for class.
No, it was, you probably had shows at that point. And I wasn't
even.
even consistent coming to class because I only started being consistent like last year, March.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Would you want to stay here?
Yeah, I think.
You mentioned the States before.
Am I allowed to go into this?
We can go into anything you want.
No, I think
I love how even the camera
because it's not martial arts. That's in my mind. I was like, just martial arts, because now I'm gonna go into film, man.
Crop that out.
And it's also cut that out. But you know, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. That's why you went to film school.
Hey, Omar.
Yeah. So last year, I used to work at this other company. They weren't treating me well. There's a whole bunch of
Can't blame them.
nonsense.
Let the man finish. I want to hear where he's going with it.
Like I can't finish a sentence without
Sorry.
yeah, they weren't treating me too well, so I quit.
You want a name
and-
drop? You'd rather not.
I'd rather not actually.
Okay, cool.
I'd
No,
rather
let's
not.
not. Let's not.
I'd rather not. Yeah, let me not do that. Yeah, I don't-
Afterwards, you tell me.
I will. They weren't treating me too well, so I quit my job there, and I started freelancing. And I noticed after I quit my full, because I was working full time for a year and a half, 9 to 5 on a good day. Most days I'd be back at the house at like 10. It wasn't.
PM?
Yeah, 10 p.m. I'd get back here.
Man, that's right.
I've gotten here after midnight.
That's crazy.
I literally go to sleep, wake up, go back to work. That's what it was. And I quit that job, and all of a sudden having this free time, because I was just starting to freelance, so I wasn't getting work a lot. And having this free time, I wanted a creative outlet. I wanted to just do something creative, and I couldn't really find it here. And I have a friend in the States, and he said, come over, I have ideas, you can write them. I have equipment, or I'm getting equipment, we can shoot it, just me, you, and another friend of ours. We can do it. And like that idea, like it did something in my mind. I'm like, I have to do it. That's the only way I can live my dream of like being a writer, being a director, is I need to go to the States. And I attempted to do that, and I got into a school there, and I was applying to get my visa. And as I'm doing this, I realized, I have to buy a ticket to get there. And I didn't even have not even half of the money to get the ticket.
Two halves is nothing. This man is running on minus, bro.
And I realized, I can't, because they wanted me to come over by the end of January. At this time, I'm finding out the news beginning of December. And I'm thinking, there's no way I can make that amount of money in such a short space. So I gave up on that. I was like, okay, I'll try for the next semester, and that's in August. And I did try, and they said, yeah, you can just come through in August, just apply for your things accordingly. I was like, all right, cool. So I still have that option to go to the States. But now...
Would you though?
That's the thing, because now I'm getting these creative outputs. That's what I needed. I needed a creative output, and now I'm here with I have a podcast with you guys. I have a podcast with the cameraman and another roommate of
Shout
mine.
out, G.
I have another where we talk about cartoons and all that. And there's films that are coming out. I wasn't working on any films at all last year, and now I've been asked to work on this film, that film, and that. And like I'm writing again more than I used to, and now I have that creative output. And now I'm doubting that I really want to go to the States. And honestly, I still think yes. I don't think I'd create the level of art that I want to create if I don't go there. So I think I'll still take that opportunity with both hands if it does come my way. But if it doesn't, I think I'm still very happy here.
I hear you.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, what contribution do you bring it as an individual? Not as a community. The community will follow. Just as an individual. Someone will see that this man is doing something different. What is he doing?
Yeah.
If you can just get one person to change, that person turns into another, we can all just get it like that. It's like managing your time and your tasks. Don't look at the 100 things you have to do. Just look at the next one, execute it, do it properly, then go to the next one.
Yeah.
Just like that.
And you build a community.
Just like that.
You build a community. For me, it's the dojo. In Korean, you say dojan. For me, it's the martial art community, and I teach them a sport, but more than that, I teach them a way to live, a mentality. And at the end of the day, our grandmaster said our biggest goal in Tang Soo Do is to be one with nature. Does he talk about the flowers and the grass? No. He talks about humanity at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's the whole world is to be at one with it. And there's this concept that I'm Christian, so I believe that human beings aren't divine unto itself, but I believe that God breathed his air into the clay. In scriptures it says that he formed Adam from clay and then he breathed. That's divine. So sometimes when I just look at people around me, I see the divinity in their eyes. I see the divinity. It's like God is being reflected back at me. Their choices and their lives is different, but human life is deeply precious.
Fact.
And the thing is, South Africans we can't see this because we're hurt. Because of all the pain, it just covers our eyes and we don't see the humanity in each other. We're very big on the word Ubuntu in South Africa, right? Ubuntu unfortunately died. But we can resurrect that guy. We can resurrect that guy. The thing is, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be many hours of teaching many kids, more than just kicking and punching, confronting things. Small things that eventually maybe become bigger things.
On that very beautiful note, you guys want to wrap it up?
We should wrap it up, guys. I've got a wife to get back to.
Yo, guys, thanks for joining the podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me as a guest, gents. Appreciate it. Much love.
It was good having you.
It's an honor to be here. I hope to see you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Please do check out the academy.
Academy?
Actually, you know what we are?
Is it an academy?
We are.
Academy, bro.
Let me think. This year we officially registered as a studio.
Exactly.
So we're not a club. We're a studio.
Studio,
okay.
sorry.
if you're in the Hatfield
Junsa?
area.
Junsa martial arts.
Junsa Mixed Martial Arts. They offer a whole bunch of services. Check them out.
Where did you get
online.
mixed from?
And mixed martial art. What do you think MMA stands for, fam?
It
It's
says
not MMA.
it says martial arts and wellness.
It's not even me.
Crop that out.
And we're still
Make-
cropping. Shots getting smaller.
Make sure to check out Junsa Martial Arts online. They provide a whole bunch of services, activities that you can do. Also check out Beyond Adventure. They're based in Hallersdale. It's a very religious base. So if you are in a time of your life where you don't know what to study, don't go to university not knowing what you're going to study. It's not going to help you in any way, type, shape or form. Take a year, 6 months, think about it. Beyond Adventure is the place to be. You'll find yourself, you'll find Christ, and thug it out. But yeah, thanks for having me, gents.
Absolutely.
Find Christ and plug it out like so closely together.
They work together, I feel like.
I feel like they can work together.
But Messiah, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate your time. On a Friday night, I didn't even mention that's why we're having drinks on the side. It's a Friday night, and instead of having a party, we're just having some deep, real conversations.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
See you next week in class.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Be nice. Some bare knuckle stuff like here. Yo.
I didn't cut it, bro. I just need to pee, bro.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
I just need to pee, fam.
We'll keep that sentence in.
Oh, sure. I need to pee.